Tonight's episode of Lessons from the Entrepreneur, the house help challenges faced by Leah and Joseph as they raised their young family inspired them to start a center for training domestic helpers. This is how Jazza Centre was birthed. Here is that story on tonight's episode of Lessons from the Entrepreneur. Our entrepreneur today is Joseph and Leah, who are running Jazza Centre. This unique couple has ventured into training our domestic workers and ensuring that they're taking care of our homes professionally. Welcome to Lessons from the Entrepreneur. My name is Melissa Odor. Our entrepreneur today is Joseph and Leah. This unique couple has ventured into training our domestic workers and ensuring that they're taking care of our homes professionally. These domestic workers are sourced from far and wide, and they're taking care of our homes from the high end to the middle class people. We are all taken care of by Jazza Centre. So welcome to this episode, Joseph and Leah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you, Melissa.
You guys are unique because you're taking care of our homes.
Yeah.
As a couple.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
tell us a bit about Jazza Centre. What inspired you to start?
At the beginning, of course, it was the fact that we under challenge when we started a family, and that was what really that's where the whole idea started.
Yeah.
After, of course, trouble experience with getting the first domestic worker to take care of our firstborn daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me about this thing of sitting, waking up. She has gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of challenges when we recruited our first, probably one or two domestic workers, and one of the challenges was skills, right? And mostly. Both hard skills and soft skills as well. So when I talk about soft skills, is communication skills, etiquette, right, and reliability as well. So as a corporate or a career mom, I felt that would be a challenge once I would probably go back for my maternity leave. And so sometimes a domestic worker would go for their off day, they don't show up, they wake up, they're leaving. Your expectation as an employer and what they're able to deliver were totally different. And we realized it was not unique to us, and we will sit with our friends. And that time, I mean, because we the same age, all of you are having probably families at the same time. The biggest topic is nannies, domestic workers. And that's how we identified.
So
there's a need.
Yeah, were you working at that point? Leah was employed?
Yes.
Yeah, she was. She used to work, or rather, she was a career engineer. Wherever she was working, and. At the time, I was running my first business, which is a marketing firm. So ideas started coming in terms of how can we get a solution to this? Not only because actually our friends used to complain, and then I realized there is a huge gap, and there is an opportunity here for a business. Now that there are many people complaining, where there is a problem always.
Get a solution.
That you need to get a solution. Always look for a solution. Actually, there are no opportunities where people are not complaining. So I mean, that is how we looked at it, and we tried to compare the way security firms operate. Initially, that was our first motto when we started. We were looking at how can we provide a service to career moms specifically, to be able to get our immediate solution or relief in case when they have a challenge with their domestic worker, even before getting skills. Because I remember one time actually she was supposed to go she had reported back to work, and the very first weekend after she had left, after having stayed for an entire almost 5 months leave, now she has gone back to work. Then the first week, again on Monday, she cannot go back to work because over the weekend, somebody came in a way that we could not allow them to continue working the following day. She came, so that level of unprofessionalism and reliability is ideally what we want to solve at the beginning. Then later, of course, we realized this has a huge social impact, especially to women, majority women who have very minimal education background and so on. And we decided to structure our business as a social enterprise, primarily to empower that unprivileged population, women and youth.
Okay, so tell us a bit about the skills that you're training these the domestic workers in. What kind of skills are you offering?
So it's basically skills in home care. We call it home care, and so we're talking about cleaning, housekeeping, and laundry, childcare and child development as well, food production, which is cooking, nutrition, very important. We have first aid and home safety, very important as well, and of course soft skills, communication skills, self-awareness. So basically that is what we cover, because that is what we feel is very important. Our curriculum is very skills based, because that is what is important, and I feel we've been able to really achieve. We have built our curriculum from scratch, and a lot of it based, because this was something very new, a lot of it based on the feedback we got from customers like you, Melissa. Yes. So it's been a very interesting journey, but a very insightful and fulfilling journey as well. 10 years. 10 years.
So once they are trained, how do you then connect them with the homes where they're supposed to go and work?
So we have, over the years, we have, I think, been able to build a name, right? And so to some extent, we have customers demand through and through. So sometimes even customers have to wait, especially for domestic workers, the live-ins. Customers have to wait for someone, for us to be able to identify someone. So, and then of course we market as well. We have a vibrant social media. The thing with this service is it's a very sensitive service. I mean, this is someone coming to take care of your home. Homes are private, it's your space, it's very sensitive. And so the referral system is very, very important. So, and that's why it's very important that our we ensure our customers are served well. So I would say 60-70% of the customers we get, they're referrals from the existing customers. And of course, they're customers, repeat customers. And of course, the rest is marketing here and there. That is where we are.
Talk to me about how do you run, ensure the effectiveness of Jazza Centre? For you, at the point where you started, what did you inject into it, in terms of capital, in terms of training, resources? Tell me a bit about that.
We looked at how can we be able to do this at the very minimal cost, because first of all, we did not have even any the premises where to train and so on. So acquiring a premises to start training, to set up an office was quite an uphill task. So we started right from our own house, at the kitchen of our house at the time. And we started by training a few, domestic workers here and there. But, after I think a month or two, then we moved into a rented space, which now could be able to accommodate, because again, customers, started coming in. Yes, of course, we had some little investment in terms of cash, money, and so on. But most important for us was ourselves, because we did put. In fact, at that time, Leah left employment, I think a few months, like 3 or 4 months after we started. I think it was less. It's within a very short time. But at the beginning, we started marketing online. training our people in our own house, then of course moving to that rented space, very small. And over time, we've been able to scale very consistently, developing a curriculum, getting a proper team. We are a full, well-structured organization with a very able team that runs the business, even without our involvement.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we are very present, of course, to lead the team and give them the direction in terms of. Yeah.
So talk to me about the fact that you have been in this industry for 10 years. You also network with others, and you are mentioning that you're like probably a big brother to them, because you see now when we talk about our domestic workers being trained, we think about, I was telling you, we think about the bureau in the state, where you, when you're stuck, you go to the bureau and you get a girl who's just around there, you give them, So how do you then help them? People like those who are coming from a bureau background, people who are just, having a small bureau, to be able to be a fully fledged center, to train them properly.
With ethics and values. So we've started a program, and like many people, by then people think when you share your ideas, you mentor your people with the same ideas, similar ideas as yours, you're introducing competitors or rather you're giving competitors your business secrets. That has not been the case with us. We decided now that God has given us, even the opportunity to run this kind of a thing. Let us share with as many as possible. So we are in a forum where we have most of the service providers in this service, and we have offered to give free advice to everyone. We receive different. There's not. We don't go more than 2 weeks before we receive somebody coming for free mentorship to understand the systems and so on. And by the way, that has even increased our, let me say, value in the market or, the impact. Because by the end of the day, what we need to do is we need to this has been very informal. The way the whole domestic workers recruitment and training and placement has been very informal. No systems, no background check, issued left, right, center, no strategy in terms of how to train and so on. So we started a program to offer this mentorship for free to all other service providers interested in running this kind of business.
Tell me about the fact that when a domestic worker comes to your house, as a mom, what should I look out for? What are some of because I know you've gone through this, and you said, you wake up and this person wants to leave, or they're there and you're thinking, I can't keep this person. So what should they look out for,
So,
before they even say, I'm employing this person?
Yes. So I think, first of all, sometimes people are very negligent, especially as mothers, because the first thing you need to ask this person is an identification, because I assume you're not employing a minor, right? An identification document. So I look at mothers on social media and I'm like, oh, I'm using my sister's, I have this nanny who's using my sister's ID. So what if something happens? This is someone you're living, your children, forget about everything else. And then you need to sit down and ask questions, right? Where do you come from, right? What have you done before? Why do you want to do this job? And when it comes to children, Melissa, as much as there's training, someone has to be very passionate about taking care of children. Then just try and look at what is their personality, where do they want to be, what motivates them, right? And at the end of the day, so that is part of vetting. Of course, as we ask for much more, like you need to bring a letter from the chief, right? You need, if you go to, we are not discriminative, but if you go to church, then let's have a letter from your church, and then identification documents. Then we have a full 4-page form where they fill the information, next of kin, referees, right? If you've been employed before, at least a former employer, and probably 2 other people or 3 other people from your family that know you. It doesn't stop there. You have to verify if this information is right, because someone can just write whatever, and when something happens is when you realize, oh, this information was wrong. So you have to verify before, right, you employ them. And then now you also have to give them your terms, right? And this is where the formalization comes in. And let me tell you, Melissa, when you work in a formal space, it creates a very convenient space for you, right? And I'm not talking complicated formal. It's just that off day. We know you agree. So off day. These are my expectations. This is when you wake up. This is what you do. This will be your duties. A lot of people assume that just because I'm a woman, I know what housework is. But our expectations are different. Our what we know about housework and the skills and the quality is very different. And even for customers who come to us, as much as we've trained, orientation is very important. Even after school, when we went to corporates, some of us took 3 months just orientation, and another year maybe as a trainee, right? So you can imagine. So that is the same. You have to set it right from the onset, so that it flows. If there's a wrong start, then everything to some extent might flow, right? So that the vetting process is very important. The onboarding process is very important. The terms, because you also want to protect yourself, you also want to protect them. Right now, there's a lot of you've also seen even domestic workers taking their employers to court. So it's very important that also these employers are not ignorant. So if you have to let someone go, let's know why. Of course, if they have, let's study the employment law better. So of course, if it's criminal, you dismiss them. But also write a letter or something, right? Document it. If you're paying, please don't pay cash, right? M-Pesa or a bank account. Make sure their lines are registered in their names, because they will take you to court and say, you've never paid me. So where do you go? If it's cash, maybe avoid cash as much as possible. If it's cash, then maybe they can sign somewhere. So those are some of the things that sometimes we overlook. And I think this is because the domestic space has been looked at, very stigmatized as well, very informalized. But things are changing. The space is changing. Things are changing, and it's for the better. It's a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for customers and homes and employers, and it's a win-win for these workers as well.
I'm also curious, Joseph. What do you think the government should do to ensure that this very crucial labor market that we have is a bit more formalized, or it's even recognized by government?
We've made a lot of requests to the government through legislators to try and especially legislate about social enterprises, so that we are able to start from there. However, for domestic workers, which creates over like now, Jazza Centre is looking to onboard 3.7 million in the next 5 years, domestic workers across the country, or rather ensure that they are formal, they are able to have acquired the right skills. Then we put them on a platform where they're accessible for placement in the market. The government can do more by enforcing the minimum wage aspect. However, let us all agree that not everyone can afford the minimum wage. We are looking at many other ways to take care of that market that cannot afford the minimum wage. But currently at Jazza, I can say with confidence that majority of the workers coming from Jazza are able to earn above the minimum wage. Above the minimum wage. We might have a few who are not exactly at the minimum wage, because of course, again, it's a process. But I think it's the government can do more by, first of all, supporting organizations as Jazza Centre through Ministry of Gender, or because we empower majority women. So the Ministry of Gender, and I had an opportunity to speak to the peers, Gender, Affirmative Action, and that department. And they're quite promising. But the way government works, there's a lot, to get things coming through. Sometimes it takes quite a while. Yeah, but I think government can support, to put structures by supporting especially, such organizations as Jazza Centre and any other service provider in that space. By, first of all, ensuring that, because primarily this business is a social enterprise. So that means we are very keen to empower people, to help people acquire skills. There was no strategy previously about that. So we want to see how we can partner with TVETs across the country. So TVETs, to be able to, we introduce this curriculum to TVETs, then we do quality assurance. So the TVETs will do the training, then Jazza Centre will do the placement, because I believe we are very good in that. We are experts in that space, placement and managing customers. So that is the approach we are looking at, even as we develop a mobile application to, of course, ensure we are able to avail these trainees on a one platform.
Awesome.
Where they can be able to access opportunities across. Yeah.
You guys are giving your final remarks now. Final remarks. Yeah. Level to do your parting shots.
It would be, let's embrace formalizing, because it's very beneficial for both the workers and the customers. It has a huge benefit that probably, Melissa, when you come, because I need you to enroll. I'll be waiting for you. So it's very beneficial. And we also thank, organizations like Synapis that have created a very big, that have played a very big role in walking the journey with us, even as entrepreneurs, all the way from giving us skills and a lot. After, they walk the journey with you, and also helping us integrate Christian values in how we do business, which is very important for us. And it has been very beneficial, especially in homes, in the marketplace, actually. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but Snappies has really played a very big role, and I that's why, by the way, sometimes personally I'm not very very very, very keen to demand for a lot from the government. I believe there is in this space there is a lot of support that you get from organizations like Snappies. Snappies has been very very key in the growth of Jazza to date, in terms of mentorship, in terms of looking for alternative sources of funding from commercial banks, which have been quite the commercial banks are quite it's tough. So I mean, there's a lot of support from Snappies, and we really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you. That's Joseph and Leah from Jazza Centre. This very key entrepreneurs that have been trained by Synapis, which is a very rich resource, especially for entrepreneurs who are trying to make it in the Kenyan space, in business. So for Lessons from the Entrepreneur, my name is Melissa Odor. Until next time.